go right into it, and I'm going to turn to Alvin for our first review.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanna first mention that we did get to see the original Tron together yesterday. Yeah.
Yes.
Which for me was the first time watching it, which I actually enjoyed. I went to it expecting a B movie and came out pleasantly surprised. So I actually raised my expectations going into this one, thinking that this was going to be hopefully like less than like a blockbuster, but more than a B movie. You know, something that's going to be a little bit better than what we saw in '82. And I was actually really surprised. I was very pleasantly surprised at how well this movie was made. Especially, I just heard that this is the first time director putting this together, because this movie had every right to just be a poor man's popcorn popping summer movie in the winter. It could have just been another 3D movie. Honestly, it could have been another Resident Evil 3D.
It could have. Yeah, that's a really good way to compare it.
They could have done that, but they made it so much more. And I'm really impressed with the level of depth that's in there. I saw it was a Walt Disney movie, and I was expecting something light and fluffy, but it wasn't. I mean, you had father-son relationship going on in there. There's that dynamic between creator and created, the idea of broken promises and working towards like a better future. And it's not just like fluffy stuff.
I was really impressed with especially what you mentioned there, the philosophy of the creation and the creator.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that they really pushed into with that, and that kind of the attainment of perfection, or just the pursuit of perfection.
Sure.
If that's even a positive thing to go for. I was impressed that they actually kind of delved into that and talked about that and discussed that. And I enjoyed that. That really kind of, I loved this movie. I'm actually really impressed that I came out of this. I was like, holy crap. Yeah. That was it was tons of fun.
Yeah.
It had just enough depth to keep me like
engaged
and,
sure.
and interested.
Yeah.
This isn't like a life-changing movie.
No.
But it had enough. The acting was a lot better than the first one.
Yeah.
Which we did watch recently.
Yeah.
There's one moment that I guess it's a nightclub. The nightclub fight scene was kind of lame. Other than that, I liked this movie pretty much from start to finish.
Yeah.
Which kind of surprised me that I came out of this and I was like, I liked that. I was watching, I was like, I'm enjoying myself. This is derivative of like Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I'm loving it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys were like shaking your head.
No, I'm curious.
I
think I'll go last.
Why do you want to go last?
Because I have a feeling I'm going to be in the minority.
That's fine. You're already in the minority. So
yeah.
You're old.
Because you're bald.
I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised because I thought I was going to be the only one that liked this movie. And I liked it a lot. I feel like, aside from the one major flaw, which is creepy digital 1980s jet bridges.
Awful. I thought he was well made, but he was creepy when he was in real life. He was really creepy.
Inside the grid.
Yeah,
it was okay. It was okay.
Sure, it was okay.
When he talked, but didn't match.
They didn't. It was unnecessary. Like, it didn't work to have the digital jet bridges in real life, in the real life part.
Yeah.
And it was also unnecessary. Like, they could have given us that information in a different way. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I really liked this movie. I felt like I didn't care for the original Tron that much. I thought it was really goofy, and I didn't understand what was going on. Mm-hmm. But I felt like
it's not that good. Yeah.
I felt like Tron Legacy took all the stuff in the original movie that worked and made it a lot better.
Yeah, it really did. It's awesome to watch. But you mentioned the fact that they're kind of building this up for a trilogy.
I think so.
But if they're building this for a trilogy, it's kind of like it's about time. Yeah. It's a trilogy that they're restarting 20 plus years later. Mm-hmm. Right, almost 30 years later.
Yeah.
So I mean, how does that happen, and why? I mean, the only other film kind of like long overdue sequels or anything, the first one that comes to mind for me is it's not really a sequel, but would be Serenity from Firefly, how it was long overdue for them to do that, for them to fix that. Do you think that fits? It's only a couple of years. I can't really think of anything like this.
Star Wars. Star Wars was a long overdue.
Star Wars.
Continuation.
Yeah, those are prequels.
Star Wars prequels.
Yeah. Predators, even. was sort of the long overdue sequel. It took the same idea. I mean,
if you don't take into account
count the
Alien
Alien versus Predators.
yeah, which
you got Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal
Kingdom of
Skull.
the Crystal Skull.
So this is something that's actually coming back into fashion.
Yeah.
Is the let's
But
go
are
back
those
and-
long overdue sequels, or are those, like we've talked about, that's kind of a continuation of a series.
Yeah,
That's just picking it
Yeah.
back up. This was a standalone film that kind of sat there
and bombed.
and bombed, and it finishes. There's no sense that it needs a sequel at the end of that film. It ties
But
everything up nicely.
there are tons of people that when that came out, they thought it was awesome,
Mhm.
and they were waiting for another one, and they had to wait almost 30 years for it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
Yeah.
crazy that they got this. And this is a huge budget film.
Indiana Jones works too because the last one came out in '89. People
Okay.
have been waiting for 20 years to see a new Indiana Jones. People have been waiting, what was it, 20 years almost to see another Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for 2050.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Wow.
Stanley Kubrick's dead.
I think Superman Returns is
You want that
is a
to be a
long
trilogy?
overdue sequel.
What is it?
Superman Returns? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of
that
like...
that actually is a direct sequel to the second
The second
one.
movie, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, despite it being kind of like rebooting the franchise, it
Mhm.
actually is a sequel. You know, bringing back Lex Luthor and then having this stupid super baby thing, and
Well, there's different reasons why this happens. I mean, Superman was in development hell for
Yeah.
a long time. It just
Yeah.
couldn't get made.
Yeah.
Like some for Indiana Jones, it's just that
They were
Spielberg and Lucas and Harrison Ford had to actually
decided to do it.
sit down and do it.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I mean, there are many reasons, but I'm just putting it on the table as another long overdue sequel.
You're right. I mean,
You know?
that's a really good thing to point out. Yes.
Yeah.
Superman. The score aside, AI to me is kind of a somewhat. I like to champion a lot because I feel like it's gonna become a buried film. It's gonna become a forgotten film.
Yeah.
Which I don't like because it's beautiful and the depth is just amazing.
Me and Nate have had plenty of discussions about AI
Yeah.
and how beautiful it is, how that should have been final shot of him
It should have
staring
been,
at the
yeah.
blue fairy.
Oh,
It's just absolutely amazing.
yeah. I
And-
don't go on after that. I seriously don't. I just
turn the movie
I
off.
just stop it. That's the end of the movie for me.
So
Aliens do not come. They
So
do not
you're in
rescue.
denial about the actual movie itself.
I don't like that ending. that movie is beautiful up to that point. That ending is it's major flaw. But that was one of the first movies I think that I might have really been emotionally affected by.
Mhm.
Like the scene where the mom leaves
that's
Haley Joel Osment
heart-wrenching.
in the woods. He's
Yeah, that
just
was awful.
screaming at her and saying, "No, mommy, no! Like I love you," and she just when
What
she's
did he
just
say?
driving
Did
away.
he say I'll be good or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he says, "I'll be good. I'll be so good."
Yes.
Yeah, it's like trying to hold her, and there's just that scene from behind that scene's heart wrenching. That seems amazing. Yeah. So AI.
I agree. I feel like I have to watch this movie again. I feel like by the time it was over, I was just like so ready for it to be over because I was like, man, this movie just won't end. It's just ending after ending after ending in this movie.
Turn it off at the end when they're pulling out from the blue, and it's
No,
amazing. And you're
I
just
will
like,
judge a movie
wow.
on its entire running course.
No,
Beginning to end.
I will judge a movie by making it better.
the Nate cut.
The Nate cut.
Wow.
Fast forward to the
Yeah.
Boris
Anyway,
Time Gladiator.
I'm
Talking.
I'm voting Tron.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Really?
I said maybe I just have to see AI again,
I think
but
so.
my experience of it was a little bit tarnished.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even remember AI, so...
Covers up more.
Oh, it's finally happening.
Oh,
Oh, you gotta give it a spin.
That's good. Yeah.